start our session. Good afternoon, friends. Thanks for joining. So far, we have discussed most of the basic things and RxJS last session. The fully we refer to RxJS. In this session, we are going to discuss about the three main things: the form groups and the unit test case, and data sharing among the components, and life cycle hooks, and styles, how we need to handle the styles in Angular application. Okay, so first let's start with the forms. Actually, for our development, let's take employee form, employee page as a development perspective. In the first page, we will show the list of employees. Okay, so this is one action, and against each employee, we have edit button and delete button. So we need to edit that employee, also delete the employee. On the top of that, we have new button there. If you want to add one more employee, means we will add. This is a CRUD operation. Okay, in that list of loading the employees, and delete is simplest one actually, because here there is no that much validation. For delete and all, just we will ask, so confirmation message to it. This is the only one thing. And for list of showing the employees and all, there is no constraint. But adding new employee or editing employee and all involve a lot of work. As a developer perspective, I am speaking, because what we need to do, apart from writing the endpoints for all these four CRUD operation, first we need to design the page, right? So after design the page, for let's take addition of the new employee. Here, let's take at least employee name, email, and phone number. Just to take three fields. What we will do for adding new employee, we need to fill up these three data, and we need to check. We should first of all, we should not leave at least employee name is empty. So this validation, and phone number should be this much length, and email address, we need to valid email address was is enter or not. So this kind of validation we will do. So after entering all those things, we need to assign these three fields into database object or some object. We need to assign this one. Then we will push in the data into database. This is for addition. For edit, what we need to do, the reverse process. So after getting the object or one particular employee, we need to manually assign that employee name into that employee text box. We need to assign, right? So this and all will take more time for development. So even in ASP.NET before, so that and all, we will do more work here. Actually, form groups, actually, this is not new. Forms is a common thing. Even HTML, we have forms kind of things. So in other programming language and all, we have forms. These forms, as an object, we can transform the data. Object to that particular fields, the controls, from controls to here, without doing the manual. So same kind of forms we have here. The same form only, HTML tag only we have. In Angular, we have one thing that is a form group. Okay, so before deep going into form group, we have two kind of approach, development approach: template driven and model driven, the reactive form kind of things. I show some code here already. We have seen this one in at least, I think, attribute routing. Yeah, in attribute routing, actually we have one just object. Okay, in that object, here we have two kind of forms. One is the template driven. So ng model through that two-way binding, right? So object dot that field name means automatically it will assign to these fields, and after filling those value, automatically it will go to the object here. So that is the forms we are doing. This is one kind of approach, the template kind of approach. This is the model kind of approach here. Model kind of approach, actually we need to mention the form groups. Okay, so we need to mention the farm group. After that, we need to mention the field name directly here from against the farm control. So automatically this value we can send to the database. Okay, so these the two kind of approach here. Uh, Actually, we are not going to learn template driven because template driven, while we converting or migrating our old Angular JS, the JavaScript based Angular, right? Maybe the 1.x version. So Angular 2 is a new complete rewrite of Angular JS. Okay. So if your project, you are owning the project in Angular JS, that time this approach will be useful. So when you migrate, same kind of code you can see in Angular itself without involving much change. You can migrate the project. So that's a thing. The backward compatibility actually the template driven we have. Most of the project actually we are using model driven only. Okay. Actually, when the name explains that based on the template, actually here for some validation, if you want to do some setup, some validation and all, you need to mention in template itself. But model approach. So if you see how the farm groups we are creating here, so this is a farm group approach. Okay. Here, everything we are create as a one model. Okay, so username and password is a two field. We are creating the control here. After that, we can mention yes whether this is required or not, or some validations. So within max length should be like that. So everything we need to map with object actually the model. That's why this is a model driven approach. But a template driven, we need to mention here directly. So we need to add here. So here itself, we need to add that approach. So that's why people won't go this older way. So new way only we are going to see how the farm groups will work. Okay. So this is the difference between template driven and model driven. This another name is reactive form. So model driven other name is the reactive form. Okay. Okay, when we have the two approaches, how the farm group help a developer easy way how they are converting their value, field value to object to field value. That and all we are going to see. Here I have mentioned the syntax for new farm group and the field name. Name, actually I have mentioned only one field here, name, and create the farm control, and this is the default value, and validation if you want we can add the validation, otherwise we will leave it as empty. Okay, so this is a one thing. So creating one field I am creating in view, just we need to mention in farm control name. Okay, so this is an important thing. After mentioning this farm group here, so we are employee farm group is a farm name. That name actually against that farm group we need to assign. After that, that field name directly we can mention in the farm group name. So automatically it will fix the value. Okay, so that we are going to see now the farm group. Okay, in farms. Okay, so we have list of farms here, list of the employee or product. Okay, we have the employee name and the rating, edit and delete. This is so for CRUD operation, we have the reading one and the delete. Edit we can do and add a new thing. So add we can add the new employee or the product here. Okay, so first, we will do the operation. After that, we will refer the code, how we need to mention or configure this farm group. Arun, rating I give 9 kind of, or Arun, I give. So when I add this farm group, I am adding. So two validation messages actually I have been added. This is just for example purpose, set only within the 5 characters only it will accept. Otherwise, it will throw error. So now I remove rest of the characters. When I click here, now it accepts for Arun, but rating should be 1 to 5. So this rating, right? So rating of between 1 to 5. So when I click 3, so now, so employee count before 8 now become 9. So newly added employees we have here. So when we delete here, so since we have 9 here, I delete 1 here. So deleted. Now count will be 8. Okay. And let's change this Raja to some other name. So when I click here, automatically comes here. This and all, so farm group take care. We need not manually assign each and every field and all. I will show code in a second. So when I change Raja to Raj and even rating 5, so this row would be changed now. So Raj, so change. Okay, so this is a CRUD operation, the simple CRUD operation I have done through that farm groups. Now let's refer the code. Okay, so now I have created 3 fields here. New farm group. Here ID, name, and rating. 3 things I have created. For ID, this is not user interface field, right? So that's why I haven't mentioned anything here. Here, for name, I have set validation. It's a required field, and max length should be 5 here. For rating, this is also required, and the rating should be between 1 and 5, right? So I have mentioned here, this is a farm group name. This employee farm group name, if you go to view, just look within this farm tag. So we need to mention that farm group name. After that, I have two input, one for name, another one is rating. Okay, so I have mentioned here, and I have button here. So first, let's look how it is adding to the object. Okay. Okay, add edit. So I am checking the validation here. Actually, from farm group, we can access the name. So if you don't have any validation, means directly we can go for here. So this is the thing. So in the employee object, so because already we have some employee object here. So we get the employee object from employee service, I think. So employee service, we get some employee object. Okay, through this service. So we are getting the employee object. So we can add that the farm group dot value means automatically one set of value will be pushed into one array here. Okay, so simply without manually assigning each and every field we are doing here. Actually, that particular name we are taking for validation purpose actually. So it's valid. So farm group name is valid, not valid means actually invalid. Invalid means we have one Boolean variable, we set false. So false means that we show the error here. So we show error here. So this tag we are showing here. Okay, same way for rating also we have farm group. So we are setting here. So everything, the validation is good for even add and update. We go for here. So here farm group dot valid. This is another property. this check for each and every field, but this is check for that particular farm group, all the fields. Okay, so valid means we can go for here. So I check here, already ID is there, means already existing employee having the ID, right? So I go for add here, edit that particular existing new existing employee, I add here. Okay, so in our object, we are replacing that one, and after that reset the farm group. For new means simply we are adding that one. So with 8, it will add the new employee as a ninth employee. It will add. So this is about add and update. So let's look how edit it works. So whenever you uh, click this particular object, even Kumar, if you click Kumar means how it will automatically goes there. Let's verify this one. So edit we have, right? So here for each form group, okay. Actually, we are referring in another page. This employee is where we have, yeah. Actually, same code only. Actually, I have other page. So same kind of validation here, right? So when you go here, actually we have a grid, right? So in that grid for each row having edit and delete option. So when you go for edit here, what we are doing, so in edit, I am passing that employee. So here the particular object for even edit and delete, just we are passing this object, the current object. Okay, so we are passing that entire row here. Just we are setting the value to the farm groups. So what this farm group will do, based on that object value, automatically it assign to that object name to this name, farm group name, and object rating to here. Automatically, this single line will do this operation. So whenever you click here, automatically it is assigning, right? So this operation that edit will do, automatically it will assign. So delete is so simple. Just we need to delete that object. After that, we need to reset the existing thing. So for delete, we are passing that object, right? That object, we find the index. So based on the find, we are deleting in that object. After that, we reset that farm groups. Okay, so now the deleted existing thing will be deleted and reassigned to object here. Okay, so this is the simplest thing for farm group. So without handling for each and every field. So the farm groups will help us to handle. That's why it's called model driven. So model we are assigning to the farm groups. Farm groups, when name matches to the field name, data object field name and input name, automatically assign that operation, that assignment only we are doing. That is the meaning of farm group. Actually, we are adding, right? So we are mentioning here the farm group, and after that we are farm group name. Actually, this will match. So automatically, when you assign edit, automatically it will assign here. For new also, when you fill up this input box through this name, it passes the value to the object here. So this is the two-way binding, and farm groups help us to do the development. So do the faster without handling the each and every field. Okay. So this is about the farm group. You have any question here? Because next we are going to go unit test. The same thing what we are doing here, right? So how we need to write the test case for this test case, this adding and delete, edit, and to check that particular object is present or not, that and all we are going to cover. So now just we are discuss about the form groups, so handling the object without doing individually.
The grid binding.
Grid binding. Okay.
Here red columns and then we could see red products. So what are these useful for?
It's column and
Red product.
அது லூப் தான் லூப் பைண்டிங் பண்ண
NG for
NG for loop multiple
version. So we can write NG for like that also.
yeah, it takes each and every column, each and every row. Actually, we are
Multiple rows.
assigning here.
For lead product, as you said, it would be a single row, like NG for what is the use of lead columns?
Actually, the column it matches with object, right? The same column we will have. Actually, if you mention here, so this column actually we are it's matching actually. Actually, this is NG prime actually prime MG that grid here. So it having some mapping. So internally, so that's the reason here. So even we can delete and see if you want.
காலம் ஜென்ரேட் ஆகும்
Going, maybe searching. Product, maybe delete here. Still it is loading only. Yeah, I haven't used much about this prime MG. So Angular material by default you will use all the normal we will use, but this is the new thing. But maybe that is the convention they are using in our project. Okay, even actually I took this example from their website. So they have a lot of type of grid. Okay, I took that one. Okay, let's evaluate more when you do the development. Okay, any other thing in form groups here? Otherwise, we will move to here. It's a very simple only. So actually, you have clear. When you go for customize validation and all, we will do. But is that and all very deep thing. So let's cover the latest thing. The based on just these two fields, you take as example for this one, and we can go for the multi-field fields and all. Okay. Okay. So if you don't have any question, means let's move to test cases. Okay, so unit test case actually in Angular actually we have two framework, Jasmine and Karma. So based on this only we are writing test case. When you generating the new form by default the test files is adding. Okay, so we need not bother about the write. They create the new file and all with minimum setup it will create all those things. With that minimum configuration, you can add more thing to do the testing and all. Okay, so just you need to know the Jasmine and Karma. What is that means? Actually, Jasmine is the allow us to write the unit test case in Angular to test the functional code, our logic code, edit, delete that and all, right? So test cases, we are writing the test cases, right? That is the based on the Jasmine. Okay, Karma, it execute. This is the test runner. It executes the test cases where we written in Jasmine, right? The test runner. Karma is a test runner. Jasmine is a unit test case feature. Okay, so basic configuration is that it start with describe. Okay. This is for the entire file like HTML tag. Okay. And it is there, right? This is for the particular test case, how we are going to test for particular component or particular action. So this is the two main thing. First here, we need to get that component. Which component we are going to test. This is the bridge between test case file and component file. Okay. So once we assign instance of the component, we need to create the test bed. Okay. So I will show in the real code, and we need to test the directly here. So I will go show that more code because I could not show more code here. Okay, now I have written. Okay, so this is the describe, and we are just assigning the component here. After that, create the instance of the employee component, because now we are going to test the list of employees and add and all be done, right? That part, that adding or add or edit part, we are going to test now. For that, this is the bridge between the component file. Okay, so we have this component list, right? So that component, we need to create the instance. Okay, create the instance here, and this fixture is the instance of the component, right? Fixes dot component instance means the TS file. So simply just understand means just you assign the assume that this is the TS file. What we have here. So entire thing will be assigned to this component variable. Okay, this component variable actually we have, right? This component variable, and the native element means just that template, the HTML. All the template will be present in compiled. Okay. After that, fixture dot direct changes. Actually, this is change direction. What we have mentioned here. What are the things we have assigned? Just detect changes means Angular internally it's having all those things online. It's available online. Okay. So now we are going to check. I have written couple of test cases. First, the basic thing. This component is available or not. Truthy means that there should be exit. The true. The component should be available. This will be created automatically. If you go and refer any test cases means you can see. Okay, by default it will check. This setup will be available. I haven't done nothing here. So this test case is available with the same thing. So test bed actually, test book bed we have here. The import the components. What are the needed for this test case? Okay, so this and all by default available. If you use anything, so actually in the dependency injection, some other service and all, if you use no, that time we need to give this employee service and all, right? Though this employee service and all, you need to add in import. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, let's back to our test case. So addition to the default test case, I have written the first test case. I have written what I have written. Employee name should have the input type is employee name should be present, and its type should be the actually text. So if you go on to see here, so just we are checking for this thing. So this control is available or not. So because once you complete this form, after that other developers come and delete this row means how you will know. This test case will point out that this component is missing, that this control is missing, kind of things it will say. So here, for that, what I am doing, this compiled. What is the compiled thing? This is the HTML file. Okay, this HTML file, query selector means that ID. What ID we have? ID is a name here. Okay, that ID I have given here. After that, that instance will be, we will get the name control. And I am checking that this is present, exist or not. the first check I will test that control should be available. Even though that is available, its type should be, see here, the type should be text, because we have mentioned this control as a text. Okay, if it is truthy means it will pass the test case. So it will equal the control type is text, expected type is text, under control type also text. It's equal. We are checking this thing only. I run this test case. Let's comment out some. Okay. Okay, run the test case. We need to use ng test. Okay, let it run that one. Before that, we will see the configuration file in first package.json. We will see. Okay, in package.json, we have this setup, right? This Jasmine and Karma. By default, when Angular, the Angular CLA creates the setup automatically. Okay, don't, you need not go for that. So based on that Angular version, it automatically it will load the Karma and Jasmine version also. So we have setup here. Okay, so this is the one thing. And okay, now test case is running. So Karma version, this is Jasmine version here. So it says this many test cases failure and pass this and that. Okay, actually it is running the entire project. So let's do one thing. Let's move to our test case. F describe means this test case, this test file only will be executed. So focused, F means focused on this test case alone. So now we rerun this test case. Now it will run that particular file, and these two test case should be executed and say the result. Here it will only show the result, but in our here we can see the two test cases are passing. This are two success, right? That and all it will show. See, actually it will show like this. So should create and apply. So in this component we have, say, right. So it shows the thing here. If you want to know, so sometimes for debugging kind of things. So whether sometimes the expected test case. So if user makes input types to some other thing. So let's take this one. Okay, let's take password. So this time it will fail, right? So this time fail. So password not equal to here. So to get the confirm, you can check console log we can give here. Console log we can use in the test case. This type here. See the log is showing, right? Type is a password like that. So you can use console log here. So now user, any other user changes or type means it will fail. Okay. So this is a one simple example about writing test case to check on a particular text file, particular input file. So this is the first test case. This is another test case. So now we'll go and check other one. So now we are what we are going to do. So we are going to check with that CRUD operation. So initially we have 8 objects, should be 8 objects. So Now we are going to check. Here also we can set that F focused for particular unit of that test within the file. Okay, now only one file, this file only will be executed. Employee count should be 8 now. So it passes 8. Okay, because since we have 8 object, it shows perfectly the 8 here. So with that, we will check other test cases too. So here we are going to delete one. So we know we have only the 8 object. Now I am going to delete the first object and fixer.detect changes. So we inform Angler to update the latest thing, and we are checking here. So after delete, how many should be there? 7. Okay, it check 7 here. Okay, so this is the delete, and let's add the new employee. So by default we have 8. So after adding new ones, it should be 9. This case. So see before add 8, right? So this one. So before add 8, I have added new employee Danny here. After added, it should be 9. Okay, it checks like this, and modify also the same. So before modify, the first object actually it contains some other name, right? Raj kind of name. Now I replaced with Nizam. So after that, I am checking that particular employee. We can give console log also. Console log we have given. Let's see. Yeah, here. So before modify, the name is Raja. So after modify, Nizam it is changing. So like that, we can check any operation. Okay. So this is what first we need to check the particular employee, particular controls are there. After that, this operation, adding, deleting, this kind of things we can check. So this is only the simplest thing. So if you want to, we can have separate session. So after this series over, so we will have to, you try with this thing. So this example definitely will be useful for writing test case. This is a very startup step only for test cases. Okay, so this is about the test case. Okay, first to go through this the basic thing. Definitely, you will have confidence to test with the third party control also. Okay, so this is about the test case. Now move to our code here. So now the data sharing. So in our project, how we need to share the data among the components. So the basic thing, this thing we are going to check here. There are 4 ways in Angular actually provides us at least 4 ways. One thing is the parent to child and the child to parent. So this thing actually we have through this input, output, and view child kind of things. And then there is no unrelated components. So component A and B is, and there is no relation between means that time we will use service as the common place or data sharing. Okay. So this we are going to learn now. come out here. Let's run the project now. Okay, data sharing. Let's go to the data sharing. Now, just I explain the screen first. Here we have three components. Within this same page, we have three components. The first one, the parent component. So it says in this color, right? So it's the light pink color, right? So this is the parent component. Within the parent component, I have that one child component. The child one is a component. So as a child, I have within that child component, it has another child component. Okay, child one was only having the child component. There is no relation between parent and child two. Okay, this is a nested kind of things. Okay, so now what we are going to check, how we need to pass the value parent to child and child one to child two. Also, how we need to return back the value from child one to parent. Otherwise, child two to child one. That and all we are going to see. Let's execute this code. Then we refer the code. Let's execute this functionality. So here I have some message, number, anything you can send here. So just I am sending 1000 here. Okay, initially we have the 555 here. So after sending the value, it changes to 1000. Okay, and also this 1000 I am going to send to each child. We are sending the value, right? So this alone, at least this is the input. So parent to child means the input decorator we will use. This only we will check now. Now after that we will go for, so child to parent, how we need to send the data. Okay. It's maybe a little bit confusion. So let's see with the demo, then you can understand. So we have data sharing is our component here. With the TS file itself, I have template here to understand the clear thing. So parent component, in this parent component header, we have only one one input actually here. Okay, this input is different because this is the other purpose. So the last we are going to learn how we need to send the data from this component to some other component. There is no relation between this parent component, right? That for example, I have two input box here. This is a first input box. This is a second input box. That only we are seeing here. Okay, so this input file for sending to child. Okay, so here sending message to child, this button. So after fill up in the value, if I click the site send a message, so it will come here. Just assign the value to this message actually, message dot value, because I have used a reference type here, this message. Okay, so this message I am sending here, the same value you can see here, send message. So this entire control will go now. We can use form group here, but so without the form group, we will see that one. Then easily you can understand. So send the value, right? So this control dot value means that particular value will be assigned to the parent message. This parent message you can see here in child, app child. Okay, the first child, app child means the first child, child one. Okay, so here the parent message, this is the input to the parent to child. So app child, we are inputting the parent message. That parent message only we are assigning here. Okay, so just to remember this name, parent message. Let's go to app one, app child one. So if you go here, the same name you can see in input, the input decorator, right? So Angular uses the input decorator to receive the message from parent. Okay, the name should be the same, otherwise it will show the error. So if I click here, parent message 1, I click here now. If you go and check here, it will show the error in data sharing component here. It will show error because the name is not matching here. But if you change again the 1 here means the error will go away. Okay, so this is the agreement between child and parent here. So name should be matched here. Okay, let's go to here. Okay, now the name is matching now. So after receiving this value, this is a parent message, right? This parent message, we are assigning to the first text box. So this is how it is working. Is it clear? So some mapping actually. Forget about other things and all. So just repeat again, since this is a little bit the confusion thing. So the rule is that what value you want to pass, that value you need to mention here with this parent, the child tag is there, right? So here we need to any number of parameter you can pass. Just I have used only one. Okay, this parent message, that name should be matched with this child variable. Okay, that should be matched. After that, we are passing the value here. This is only is a new thing for us. Okay, this value, whatever I am typing here, that value I am transforming through this send message here, just assigning. Automatically what it will do, this in child component receive that value through this variable and just assigning to here. So this is how happening here. So whenever I am adding here anything here, after clicking, that value will be assigning automatically. I don't know something. Yeah, it will be sent, right? So it's sending here, whatever you are typing, it will send here. So like that, if you send the same message, this message to child 2, child 3 means it will go. So same configuration I have mentioned here. Let's verify how child 2 receive the message from child 1 through that input component. So what we need to do, in this child 1, the HTML file, the child 2 tag will be started. There we need to pass this value. Okay, let's verify that one. So just go to the child 1. In child 1, child 2 is there. Okay, so we are reusing the child here. Here we are passing through message. Message is the message, this thing. So I am passing message child 2. This is the variable. This variable you want to see here. Send message. I am using when I click this function, just assigning what value we have, that value we are passing, right? That value we are assigning to the child 1 message here, child 2 message here. This variable only we are filling in that click event. Okay, so when you assign here, what we need to do in child 2 event, we should use the same variable name and assign to its input value, right? So let's verify that also. So here you can see the input. Okay, so input, it's the same name we have used, right? That name we are assigning to its input. Okay, so that's the thing we are seeing here. So after sending anything here, I send value to here, that input, the same value we are assigning to this text box. Okay, so through input, what we need to do, at input, we need to use where you are receiving the value. In child component, you need to use that input, not in parent. In parent, we need to send the value with variable and passing that value. In child component, input the same variable, then this value available, this value you can use to show in input box or do some other operation you can do. Okay, so this is about the input. Okay, now, so you have any question up to that? Okay, okay. Then we can go for the reverse process. How we need to send the value. So what I am going to do here, send message to child one. I am going to reply. So welcome. Okay, just I am saying thank you. Okay, so I sent this message to here. Okay, I am telling thank you, parent. This message will go. This actually reverse process. For this reverse process, we need to use output and event emitter, emitting the value to parent. Okay, so that example we are going to do. First, let's look how we need to send back the value or send the value to parent. Let's verify in child component. In child one, we will go. We have here output component output. Okay, in output, we have one variable. That variable type is the event emitter. Okay, so this event emitter we have, right? So when I click here, what I am doing here, I am sending the value to parent, right? After changing some value, I am sending the parent, right? So this click event, let's verify what is happening. Send message to parent is a button. So send the parent, right? So this one, right? From child one. So here, what we declare as output, right? The same variable name dot emitting the value, because this is a event emitter. So it will emit the value, right? Okay. So emit the value, which value I am emitting, which value I am passing here. For this control, I am passing some value, right? Which value I am passing? This input text value, child message. The same child message only I am passing through child here, parent here, right? That message dot value here. Okay, send message to parent, right? Okay, send message to parent. This value I'm emitting. So this is a mechanism in child. Okay, how the parent receives the message from child. Let's look that one. Go to data sharing. Here, okay, message event. Just to remember this message event, go to here. So app one, right? Here, the same message event we have. Here we need to write one function to receive that value. So receives message is one function here. I have written here. So which value returning from child, that same value I am assigning to the message text box. What is the message text box here? We have this message. So this is how it's working. Okay, from child we need to emitting the value. That's why we are declaring here event emitter we are declaring here. Okay. Just we are emitting this value. Also, we need to emit the value, declare one value and emitting that value. This will carry the child information to parent. In parent, we need to receive through one event. We need to write here. Okay, so this is about output and event emitter. So passing back value to parents. Okay, so same way we can send it to child to child one. Okay, so how we are sending that thank you information. So we are, let's verify this one. Same thing. Let's go to child two now. So output the message event, the same thing here, and I am emitting the value. Okay, so this message event you can see in here in child two. From child two, it is coming this value. From this message, I am getting the value. I am assigning child message to here. This child message is this one. Okay, so this is the reverse process some keywords you need to remember and steps you need to follow. Okay, so this is about the main thing, parent to child and to child to parent. Okay, we have another way that also through that method also we can pass the value, but this is kind of inefficient. Difference between these two, right? Child to parent, actually output and event emitter means it will emit the required value, the minimum value only it will required from that child. Just take that example, parent to child we are passing, input we are passing. The output means which value I am emitting, that value only will be passing to parent, right? But here the entire child, the same component, all the component will be passing to parent. If you want, you can use or dynamically you can show something in parent also. Okay, so this is the thing, but it is a rare thing we will use. But we have another way to use view child. I will explain. First of all, let's see the view child. So what we are going to do? Let's take from here we are sending the value, right? So this through output and event emitter we are sending the value. Now the view child, how we are saying we need to sending the value to parent on. Let's just that one. So go to the project. Okay, go to the parent now. In parent, actually, see, as a view child, I am taking that parent one. See, the app child is the parent one. Reference I am creating. How we created a reference for this input. Like that, for this child itself, I am creating the reference, have it in one variable, and okay. In send message, I am going to show in console log those things. Okay. Five thousand I am giving here. Let's wait. So here, child one, the entire thing, whatever we are seeing, the child count, this and all not available in a parent component. Child component only we have change count and all. So if you go and refer those file in child one, see this variable and all, everything will be available here. So child message and then the native element, the input, everything as a the entire component will be displayed here. So you can use if you want. You can place everything up basing some HTML tag. You can show that content in here itself or some other way. But I haven't used in that way. But I always I used actually the output only whatever we required, that only we need to take, right? So this is just we will know this is one of the way to return the value child to parent. Okay, but this view child not only passing the value to child to parent, but the same component, if you want to pass the value from HTML to TS file, we can use actually the same example we have used in even in if you go and see in parent component. See here there are two view child, right? First view child I used for child component. I used for the component, but this view child used for own component template. From this own component template, I want to take the HTML, right? This text box, right? I am using this. The based on this only I get the value. So otherwise, how you get the value? So actually, through this lesson also you can tell. So what are all the ways? So if I have value, so forget about the child components. The parent component, I have typed this 5,000. This 5,000 I need in TS file. because this 5,000 are available in HTML file. So in TS file, how you will send the value? Form group we can send, right? NG model, yeah, NG model, that and all the other way we can send. Then which way then we will send? Otherwise, old HTML JavaScript way, element dot get HTML by ID, right? Same way we can use, but bit complex we need to write, right? That is also another way. But in Angular, giving very the useful way. This is the template reference variable. So what we need to do? So this input, right? This input, just I introduce one variable, template reference variable. This is called the hash. Any variable name, if you give me, this is a template reference variable. This variable we can use through this view child here. So this reference variable I am passing to component and have it to this variable. Then wherever you want, you can use that name. See, native dot value means that the child to parent we are sending that through output, right? That value I am assigning through like that one. So this is another way. Template reference variable used to send the value from HTML to TS file. For that purpose also we will use the view child. View child is a two purpose. One, we can return the child component to parent component as an entire thing. Otherwise, template reference variable also it will transfer to component file. Okay, so this is the third point. The fourth point. So now, since we have a relation between these three components, among these three components, we are using input and output and all. But I am giving some code here. God is good. I am creating one code here or send message here. I want to send this message to other components. Okay, so if I go here to data binding, so message here, so just empty here, and attribute, so message is empty. Now what we are going to do, I am creating some message here. Send message. Okay, I sent this message. If you go and refer here, the data binding, see, God is good came automatically, right? God is good. Okay, even you can send some even some other message too. So if you send now, that the same message will be available here, whatever you do. Actually, how we have achieved this service. So in last session, actually in RxJS, we see the behavioral subject, right? So through behavioral subject only, I have achieved this. I will show that code. Okay, so in the data sharing component, I used the code service. So I am injecting the code service here, right? So injecting what I have done, so send a message to that service. So message dot value. Okay, this message means this is the template reference variable. So another service message. So this is a service message is a another input box we have. Here whatever I type, that message I'm sending to the service, right? This as a service message here, sending message to service event we will go. So here I am receiving with this variable, I am passing to this object here. Okay, so this object actually service, code service I have. This is a behavioral subject from RxJS. Here what I have done, so update means that new value I am adding to behavioral subject. So behavioral subject, we created one variable with default message, and we are whenever request subscribe this service, we are emitting this value. Okay, this is for set, this is for get. Okay, so that's why we used update code in data sharing, update code for assigning, for getting actually in attribute routing. See, subscribe the new code. This message we are assigning to the message box what we have here. Okay, so this is about the service. The service is a common place. Whatever value you can put there, and wherever we need, we can request from there. Okay, so this is about the data sharing here. So parent to child, child to parent, and for unrelated component, we can send the thing. So this is the data sharing. Next, we will see life cycle hooks. So before 4:30, we will conclude this session. Okay, life cycle hooks actually we have. So here, these 8 actually we have the life cycle hooks. Here ng on init and on destroy. This only we will normally we will use. Other things and all based on your the component composition. So if you used input output, then we need to use the we need that and all. Some third party content, if you add to your component means we will use this set content init and content check. Okay, so we will use this one. And the on change do check and all for input the change detection whenever is doing. But normally is on it destroy only very useful. Often we will use that one. But anyhow, we will see the demo now. Okay, on change when it will fire. So normally when I ask this question into interview, so most of the people what they will think that this is the like the event change event, right? So when I type something in text box, it will fire. Not it won't fire like that. This is whenever the input element is changing, then only it will get fire. Okay, so I will show demo here. Data sharing, right? And I'm binding this. It's a parent component, right? In our explanation, actually, we see this is a data sharing is a parent and child one is a child, also a parent for this thing. So here I have the parent on change event. So when I clear that one. So you cannot see that event because that event won't fire for normal typing and all. Testing and all, it won't fire. Okay, but the same event we have on change event, right? In on change event, we have here. So on change event. So it will fire whenever the input component is changing here. Now, when I click here, see on change event is fire because we have input component here, right? So parent child input use means it will fire here. Okay. So this is also some rare thing only. But anyhow, just to have it in mind, this is on change event is the base related to parent to child relationship for input component whenever used. That's why I given in explanation also. So called when input property of component change. Okay. So this is about on change. ng on init. So only once it will fire after the on change event. Okay. So what we will use for HTTP request unload. This is the unload event in ASP.NET and other things are on page load or on that kind of event only. So only one it will fire. So this place we can use to do request the page load kind of things and initializing some other service and variable that and all we will use in Janinity. This is the thing. Do check. Actually, this is related to change direction. So if your page is heavy change direction kind of work means that time only we will go. So I given one console log here. So do check here count whenever change detection is happening, it will make count here. So let's clear out the thing. Okay, do check only once because first time it will be loaded. So when I click here, so do check second time it will do and send back the value here. That time also it will do. So this and all the change detection actually how internally how even though you use the input and output, how internally it works means change detection. Actually, what is change detection actually? So after page loading, if you do some other operation, that value will be moved to some other node or some other part means Angular as the change detection, it always it's keep on watching here. Any changes happens means Angular update that event to the shadow DOM. So in actually in React and Vue and all virtual DOM, so using that is a separate concept. So latest change only it will keep and update to here without disturb the UI, right? In shadow DOM here using the actually change detection is based on the shadow DOM. So after always is watching. In Angular JS, we have a monitor kind of things we had. Okay, so here actually we have this change detection. It will update the here. So whenever you add some give here means input means internally Angular get the value and assign to that mapping variable. So this is the change detection. So this is related to change detection kind of thing. So if you irrelevant work anything happens means just to go and put some console log message in do check, then you can know so what kind of thing any changes are happening here. There this is the best way to fix the bug. So this kind of things that time we will use do check after content in it. And so whenever when external contents load to the component here. Okay, so I will show the one external link here. So this will be very useful, easy to understand. So here, app component is the normal, the parent component here. We have other component. This is a child component. How I am telling the child component, we are using this component in parent component. Okay, so I am calling the child component twice. So if you give any value between this open and close of the child component, it won't show here. Okay, child component, it won't show here. But there we can write some condition. So ng content means a dynamically Angular content here based on the selector, select dot app, which class start dot app, that content will be loaded here. Okay, like that. Dot app one means it will be loaded here. Okay, so output is hello, I am is the content. So constant content here, static content. After that, dynamically it loads the senior developer. That app, right? This app is from here. And app one experience 5 years, right? This one mapping here. Okay, so ng content means actually this is some irrelevant way. So it's roundabout way. Now nowadays we are using the child component directly, whatever thing. So it's after child component, if you want to pass the needed thing only, we will use. I will show a demo in our application. Okay, now what we are doing in for app, this for child component, I am passing one value here, not passing have it, this value here, but it won't show to app child. If you go here and this application developer, so application developer is showing here, right? This is based on the value I have given here, not because of passing here. In app one, in ng content, because of it's happening because of ng content. If I remove this one, nothing show here, right? Even though I have some value in within that content here, this app child, nothing is showing here. Actually, why? Because we can have some content here, some tags and all. So based on the ng content, what you have written in child component, it will fetch the value. That's the ng content. Ng content means dynamically create the content. So that is the thing. Now we pass this content to ng content in child one. So I add again. It's not simply loads here based on the condition selector. Whatever you have given in within the child tag, whatever value here given the child tag, that value only it will fetch, not other values what you have in parent components. Within this condition, this app child one, within this tag, whatever you have given here, this value having the class app means it will fetch. Otherwise, it will ignore. So if you go and check here, like select app, the same thing matches here, right? That's why it's showing application developer. So if you change some other thing, this value is not matching means it won't fetch anything. But if any classes having app2 means that time it will show. So let's go and add app2. I add another tag here. Add 2, I will add here software. Okay, now software developer it is adding here. I don't know why it says. Let's see the. Okay, I maybe up to is there anyhow? We don't have anything up to. Maybe some other thing is. I don't know how it pictures the earlier. So new one is coming here. Actually, thing is that the content, whatever content you are requesting here through the ng content, that should be available in app child, because we are getting the value in app child only, right? So that should be match the selector. So this is ng content, but this is also very rare. So normally we going to use in your project itself, you want to use some, but some different things. So you are supplying something, you need to get the value from there only means we can go for that. But this kind of situation I haven't faced. But anyhow, in our project, let's check ng content. Then we can come to know the perfect scenario for ng content. Then we can use that one. Okay, so this is about. So that time this event will be fired since we have used this value, right? So if we go on to check the ng content, this will so content initialized and the content checked. So that time this event will be get fired. That only we have written here. So ng content and actually this is the input. Whenever input value is changing, it will show. We are assigning the 555, and when value is changing, it is showing the value. Showing this ng content checked, that also we will verify. So when we make some changes here, see this value mentioning, right? So after any edit kind of things, it will show. This is input event changed means it will show. Because the input and all, because the child event is not part of the current component. That's why this even new life cycle event have been created. Okay, so first even in the parent component, first this parent component full HTML will be shown. After that only that child component will be loaded. So that's why we have separate life cycle hooks for the child component. These are all for the particular child component only. Okay, so this is about after we need child and all called when views and child views started initialized. This is after loaded completely. It will be loaded. So initial event, close event, like that. These two events are the same. And finally, and destroy. So clean, unsubscribe the services or clean the object and all we will use. So we have child one, ng destroy. Here you cannot see that event whenever actually, even though you do any other operation, it won't do. But if you navigate to some other object, that time only say ng destroy will fire. The ng destroy means actually the last focus kind of thing. So when component destroying, the destroying means the new components loading from the old one to that time you can write some code. So unsubscribe and clear out the object. Okay, so this is about the thing. The final one is styles. Actually, styles is you are familiar with up to inline style, class, import, and these three. The first we will see the example here. I release the comment in styles. Okay, we have style here. Actually, for welcome messages, the same style I have used, but each execute from different area. So if you see here, as an inline style I have created. Okay, the welcome to Angular style. Okay, this one is the component style. So here it's a title, right? This title you can see in CSS. Same CSS I have written here. That CSS here using here. Another one is a global style. Global style means we have in our Angular, we have one global style component here. Here I have written g.title. Okay. The final one is that I have written the model style in different file. That file should be imported in global style. Okay, so 4 different way you can write the style for our component, right? Okay. So in 4 ways. So inline or a class from own component or in styles, the global file for entire project. Otherwise, if you want to the modular kind of things means you can write your own CSS file and import into current component or HTML. In the styles component, you can use. Okay, so this is the 4 approaches. Apart from that, we have the CSS framework normally. Okay, so third-party CSS framework. So we have Prime ng, the Angular material, and the ng Bootstrap. So these are 3 major things for Angular project. Mostly Angular material will be used, but current our project we are using Prime ng. I have given that URL. From that URL, easily you can learn that style. Few styles I have mentioned in our file. Yeah, okay. I comment again. So the buttons, how we need to use the Prime MG button, this one. So how you need to install even frame MG or Angular material, whatever you want, what you need to do, we need to get that value here. So prime MG, right? So you need to install npm I prime MG. So whatever things you need to install, this is the first thing. Then in Angular configuration file, so Angular JSON file, before file or after file. So you need to mention that ng prime or Angular material CSS link from that Node.js node modules it has. We need to mention here. Apart from that, in styles, you need to import whatever thing. So after doing this procedure, you can see these are all the things. So here the button I have used and the rating. So you can give the rating or clear out, and any editor you can use, some other editor you can use, and even add any images here. So that and all you can add, and this is a card. So once you click the model window or some other card, we can show the card by card, some task and all. So these and all the tab view we can do, and forms actually in our here we have here, right? This and all prime MG only. So you can search, okay, and all those things. So alternative things here, some paging concept, this and all we can do. Actually, I share this project file already. We are running out of time. So this thing easily you can approach. The same thing you can go for Angular material or NG Prime or any other third party thing. You can go for that. Okay. So this is about this class. Next class we are going to discuss some performance tuning and what is new in Angular in last 2 to 3 versions. These thing only, I think I noted some other thing. Yeah, Angular Universal actually for server-side rendering. So that we will see the small demo, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. You will see how we need to create the project and all the new features and the localization. The same English content only. How we can, without having much code, how we need to translate to Hindi or some other language. How we are using some. We have some tool that and all we will see, and the loading optimization and best practices we will see. If you have time, how to build and deploying our Angular project into server. That and all we will see based on the time. Okay, so let's end up with these things for next week. Only one session only we have. The next Thursday we will have the session. After that we will end the thing. So you have any question, guys? I share this project with this presentation file. You go through. Actually, this project contains all the thing what we have from the beginning. Okay, so all we after the Angular 17 project, right? We have the thing. You whenever you have question and you just go and take the example and do. Also, we can reach me. Happy to help you. Okay, thank you, team. Thank you for your patience.